Hey everybody, it's Kate Richburg. It is time. It is that time. I feel like I have a soft filter on. Do I? I don't know. I cleaned my, hang on. I'm going to wash your face real quick. Hang on. Is that better? Maybe. I still feel like I'm kind of soft. Maybe I need a little, I don't know. Anyways, hi everyone. It's Wednesday. It is Wednesday, December 17th. You guys, we're careening. We are in the holidays. Happy Hanukkah to all y'all. Merry Christmas next week. Miranda just said it's a week till Christmas. Mm-hmm. Right? A week from today will be Christmas Eve.
A week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Is that right?
Oh,
no, a week from today.
A week from today.
Yeah,
Christmas Eve.
is Christmas Eve.
Correct.
And then Christmas Day.
7 more sleeps.
I know, it's crazy. Santa comes. I hope Santa's good to me. I don't know. I'm hoping. Miranda thinks that's funny. Yes, I tried to be elegant. Thank you, Myra, for see, I've got holiday sleeves on because we're going to make an elegant thing today, right? We are going to do a French beaded flower. Back when Emily in July, doesn't it feel like it was yesterday? Emily did Christmas in July, remember? And she made this amazing holiday tree for us. She taught us how to do it, which was so great, so good. We loved it. We learned so much. Some of you have shared yours over on the bead table, which is fantastic. Someone, I can't remember who it was, who made all the little mini trees. Did you see those, Miranda? Mm-hmm. They were so, oh my gosh, they were so cute. So it really inspired me, Emily's show. Ever since Emily taught us how to make the trees, I have been wanting to do a holiday, like a holiday brooch, right? Or a holiday, like a corsage, right? Do you remember, did you ever get, once in a while, I remember Gran would have one. She had a holiday one that she would wear on her. She had an amazing, it's kind of like a car coat sort of kind of shape, but it was elevated. It was red corduroy, like dark burgundy. And it had a white fur, maybe it was rabbit. I don't know. It was real fur because it was back in the day. Had a white fur collar, and she would always wear that at holiday time. And she would get like, remember they used to make them, you used to be able to buy like a holiday corsage when you would like go buy your wrapping papers and stuff, right? She would always wear like a little corsage. It had like little Christmas bells and stuff on it. So this is kind of an homage to Gran and her holiday brooch. I'm going to wear the heck out of it for the rest of the holidays. A couple of questions, and then I'll tell you. Yes, Susan, I will put all of this up on a learning page. I didn't do it beforehand because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to use, but there is, if you look in this upper corner right there, can you see that QR code? If you scan it with your phone, it's going to take you right to our Amazon storefront. And I added some things in our Amazon storefront, including the book that Emily, that has the Christmas tree in it. This is influencer nails. Sorry. I did this without thinking. Sorry. Right? Like this. Yeah, sorry. When I see that, I run into the street. So apologies for that. So yeah, and so then there's some other things, some ribbons, some other pin backs. Though we do carry pin backs here at Beadshop. We're a little low, so I put some pin backs on the Amazon storefront. Some other things as well, some ribbon, things like that. So so it's over there. So you can find that right there on our QR code. Then let me see. Yes, the Rexall drugs. Yes, Janice, right? You would go and you'd have little Christmas balls and some tinsel. And yeah, they were just, I was always fascinated buy them. I loved it. And let's see. Christmas tree project. Thank you, Janice, for linking that. We're so indebted to Emily for doing that for us. It was such a fun broadcast. You can find the rebroadcast. We still have some of the check beads in stock, but you can always start it for next year. I have mine up right in my house, and then I have the one that Emily made and sent us. I have it here. We were going to give it away, but I don't have the heart to do it yet because I just like having it here. So I'm also drinking on my holiday mug, my holiday spode, which is my favorite. Oh, and great. Kim, I love it. Having the Pellon in our Amazon store. We do have it in there for the bag making class. I finally have the handles. The bag handles are in. And they are ready to go up. So I'm going to put those up today. So I'll have a link in the newsletter tomorrow. If you stay tuned to the end of the broadcast, we'll do some more announcements and stuff like that. But I wanted to mention our movie night is tonight. We kind of threw it together. This will be kind of the template to see how it all goes, right? With that. So it's tonight. It's at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. In the newsletter, there was a Zoom link for the broadcast. What I'll do is I will let me grab the Zoom link. I think I can grab it out of the newsletter. I should have done that. Let me see if I can just go to our Zoom. Hold, please, while I do that. Oh, no, I think it's right in here. Yeah, there it is. And let me see if I can grab the Zoom link. And will someone test this for me to make sure it's correct? Okay. I think this is it. And then I'll give you more info about the Zoom, about all of the info for the movie at the end of the broadcast. Okay. Let me see if I can get it here. Sorry, I should have had it all ready to go, but I'm going to grab it. It's working for me, so that's what I'm hoping that it will go. Here we go, meetings. Let me get rid of this. Let me go here. Let me get the link. I think it's here. Let's try that. And let me put it up. Let's try this. I think here's the link right here. And will someone check it in going over to the newsletter? I checked it. Miranda checked it. I think you're going to have to download Zoom if you don't have it. We're going to be streaming the movie with Zoom. And then you can also find the movie on, we got it from Apple. It's on Disney Plus right now. We're going to be watching the Muppet movie. So more of that info at the end, because I want to get to the project before we get too deep into this. Janice, though, oh, good. Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. That link is working. Great. And if someone wants to grab the link from the chat, you can, and double check it. Janice, we had a question from Curtis. I'm trying to find your question, Curtis. He's asking, are the crescent crimps something that will always be available, or is that something with a limited supply because Tiara Cast is no longer available? I think that we can get them. I think it's something that we're going to keep. We do have a Passion Fashion order coming in because now they, I love how everybody's putting their local Rexall Drugs address in here. Janice is in Palo Alto and my mom's in Gilroy. I love it. But Janice, will you double check on that just to make sure that we are getting that, those crescent crimps? They are such a handy one to have. So we'll look into that for you, Curtis, and make sure. But if we still have it on the website, it means we should be able to get it because we deleted a bunch from Tierra Cast that we could no longer get. So, so thanks for that question. Let's see if there's any other questions. Okay. And Janice, perfect. I just made an order, but the crescent crimps aren't in the order. And Janice, let's just put them on our next order if we can get them, because we use them in that Frida earring. We use it, in a lot of our projects. So thanks, Curtis. And Janice, poor JP, she says, I have so much to restock. Anyone want to intern and learn all about inventory? So true. We're going to be where, like every business, we are kind of, slimming the inventory at the end of the year because it's a good business practice to do. Then starting at the beginning of the year, we're getting a bunch of new stuff in. So if we are, and restocks. So if we are out of stock on something you love, first of all, put yourself on the out of stock notification list. Okay, do that. And stay tuned to the newsletters and the homepage. So you'll be able to see it. There's my friend, Carolyn Soto. Carolyn, if you were standing here, I'd say the same thing to you because you are my fashion muse. Lots of love to you. She's amazing. So good. And it looks like the link is working from the chat link. So thank you, Mary Ellen, for that. We've kind of thrown it together a little bit last minute. If this is fun, we'll do another movie night, maybe in the spring or summer. If it's a big disaster, then this is it. But yeah, Miranda and I will be watching the movie. We'll see if cats are coming through. We're going to sit in my living room and have some holiday cheer. Chris is going to make us pizza.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Chris is making pizza for movie night. So yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to be working on crafts and stuff. So we'll just chat. We'll have the movie playing in the background. I think it'll be fun. So anywho, that's that story. All right. So, let's get to the project, shall we? First, let's take a look at the book that, Emily guided us to. And this is also on our Amazon storefront. Okay. So, whoops, I don't want to bring up Zoom yet. Hang on. Sorry. Whoops. Let me do this. There we go. Let me zoom out there. There we go. And you can see my really messy desk here, which is kind of fun. This is the book, the Virginia Nathanson book that Emily taught us how to do the Christmas trees from. And this is definitely a vintage book. We just love it. This is an unabridged Dover repro. The Art of Making Beaded Flowers was originally published in 1967. So this is very in line with kind of that vintage beaded flower look, right, that we're going for. It has, I mean, look at, come on. I want to make that centerpiece for sure. I have like a vase, kind of coupe vase like this that I think needs some beaded flowers like that, right? Love it. The Christmas tree that she showed us, that's here on this page. But, you know, as I've been going through this, I've been looking through this book a lot since the summer, since I got it. And it really talks about how to get started, very like vintagey kind of feel to it. And there's some basics that once you learn, you're in really good shape. So I'm going to show you today the technique, what we call to make, let me show you these petals, like the petal that I have here. This is called the basic technique, right? And this is really the basic for just about every petal and leaf that's out there. Okay. And then there's some variations on it, but I'm going to talk about this the basics about the basic, and how to do them. Okay. So that's this. She goes through all of these. She talks about how to start. We're going to make this basic loop. Essentially, all of these flowers start the same way, and the leaves start the same way. You make a loop at the top, so it's a stopper. First, you put on all your beads first, and I'll show you how to do that with the bead spinner if you don't know it. We're going to pull as many beads up towards the center as we want, right? Then we twist. Then we start making the rows, okay, like this. And that's all there is to it. There's some fancier variations, right? Shading, doing like fancier stems and things like that. But we're just going to go for the basic. Now I want to show you, I earmarked 2 of the different kind of leaf patterns that I loved and the flower patterns that I loved. This is the lily of the valley with a really long stem or a long leaf, which I love. I also love these lily of the valley little beaded things. They're just so charming, so vintage. So I'm going to base mine kind of off of that today, as well as in the Christmas section, there is a poinsettia. I did my petals rounded, but I may make some pointed petals as well. Okay. There are also some Christmas bells. Look at the beaded Christmas bells. I'm not going to make those today, but they're super tempting, right? You could definitely, so Leslie's asking, could this be a bracelet? It sure could be. This could also, you could put it on a headband like we did with Janice's. You know, we did that show earlier this year. It was really fun. So yeah, you can put these on anything. Okay. But let me show you the components and the things that I used, and I might be adding some extras. I don't know. But for the flower that I'm making you today, this is kind of my modified poinsettia. It doesn't have a super pointy leaf or petal. Thanks. I was trying to call it. It is a leaf. Well, it is a leaf. It's called a bract, I believe, is the poinsettia. I looked it up, the poinsettia petal, because it is actually more of a leaf than a petal. But so I made these longer ones, these bigger ones, and I made 6 of these. And I'll be honest with you folks, this is this was really my first foray. So as I practiced and got better, the petals got better. So can you see how they actually vary a little bit in size, which I'm okay about? Maureen is saying she's made many pairs of earrings with these leaves. People love them. Maureen, I didn't even think about turning it upside down to make it an earring. What a great idea for that. Love it. Love it. Let me get in a little tighter here so that you don't see everything that's super messy mess. There we go. That's a little bit better. So I made 6 larger petals, and I'll tell you the count on these and everything too, okay, as I get into it. But here is, I made then kind of inner petals. I made 4 of those. 1, 2, 3. I had already kind of shaped them, but I want to flatten them out. 3 and 4. Okay. I did that for here. And then I made up kind of a little center thing. And what I did was I just made loops and twisted them around. And I'll show you how I did that. I did 4 of those loops. Okay, and then I kind of pushed it up like this. So that's kind of the center of the poinsettia. Okay, so that's this. I know I turn everything into an earring. I know, right? Then I also made, in a nod to like those Christmas corsages, what I got was some of our drucks. These are 8mm drucks. We have just a ton of them. Oh, there's my friend Mary. Mary, I miss you. Let me tell you. Hi, hi, hi. That one's for Mary. Mary's like she's my bestie, so I had to take a minute. Okay, so here's the drucks, the 8mm drucks. You can use these. You can use fire polish. I also grabbed kind of a vintagey button. This is the star button in red wine. We could throw that together. I could also make some little twisties with this mirror mix. So I don't know how we're gonna embellish this a little later, but I'll show you how I do the extras. First, we're going to do the flowers. Okay. So here's the petals. 6 outer petals, 4 inner petals, and so far I've done 2 leaves. Okay. So let me show you what I've had. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Okay. So you can see how this starts. So what I did was I'm using the check seed beads that Emily told us to use. Okay, what we used for the tree. We still have some beautiful colors. I almost did this in pinks because I love how that kind of really vintage pink kind of, color story. But I did it in traditional Christmas colors, right? So so that's what I did. I did them in the red and the green, and I'm going to kind of go for a poinsettia effect. Okay, that's what I'm going for. But you could do anything. We also have them, here they are in the silver. Look, the check in the silver. Wouldn't that be gorgeous in pink and silver? It'd be so nice to make them for your hair or something. I don't know, or on hairpins. So what I did here, I am working off the wire. And if you go, it's in the link, the right there, the QR code. If you scan that, you'll go to our Amazon storefront. I have this floral wire that Emily used linked there. I have the floral tape that I'm going to use. I have some velvet ribbon I grabbed from my stash. This is some vintage velvet ribbon that I'm going to kind of play with. I also have some of this woven edge ribbon. This is also vintage silk that I might do some wrapping with. But I linked some kind of comparable items in our Amazon storefront there. The bead spinner we carry here at Beadshop, right? It goes super fast. I'll tell you. I'm going to put some more beads on here, but you can see I've done a whole bunch here on this. So what we do is I've just poured some beads in. I am going to unwind some more wire. Now let's look. Let me show you how to spin, and then I'll show you in the book. Okay. So here is, I'm going to clip this edge off. And what I do to get a nice edge on this, or a nice loop on this to pick up the beads, because I'm going to put them right on the wire, I kind of use like my 11-aught seed bead tube, and it kind of gives me, can you see, it gives me a nice curve on the end. Okay. So I'm going to pull these beads down. I have a whole bunch on there already, but I'm right-handed. Okay. So I'm going to hold it in my right hand You see that? There's the curve. The curve is going towards the side of the bowl. I'm going to dip it in the bowl kind of at an angle, and I'm going to spin it clockwise. Okay, whoops, but you have to be careful when you take them out. See, mine all fell off. Hang on. There we go. And so see, I want to get my hand out of the way. How those come up, they go on your wire, and then you slide them down. Let me see if I can kind of get my hand. Let me do it. Try and do it this way. I don't know. Can you see that? How they're jumping on there? I've got my hands kind of crossed, but, and you don't want to push your wire too close up against the side of your bead spinner, or else they won't jump on. Okay, like this. Okay, so now they're on there. Okay, so you just keep going, keep spinning, keep spinning. They're really fun to do. And what you want to do is you do not want to cut the wire off the end of your spool. Okay, let me focus this in. Okay, so this wire is, I think this is 24 gauge wire. You could use 24, you could use 26. You could also use our parawire. Is it 26, JP? I don't know what this is. You could use, I think it's 24, to be honest, I think. But I was looking at some different, in the book, she states some different wire gauges. So let me show you how to read the pattern in here, okay? Because I was super confused. I had to do some Googling. I had to kind of figure this out because it kind of confused me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make a little bend at the bottom so that my beads are at the top here, so my beads don't come off. Okay, so the link in the Amazon store has 26 or 22. Okay, this is what I actually got from our Amazon store. So this must be 26 gauge right here. Okay, 26. You can also use the 26 gauge parawire too if you have some. It's not a problem. But don't cut your wire off the spool. Okay, keep spinning because see, look at all the beads I've got on here. All right, let's look at this leaf one that I was liking right here. So this, here's the lily of the valley. So see here, what she says here, wires 18 or 19 gauge for stems and bracing leaves, 26 or 28 for making leaves, okay, and 28 or 30 for making flowers. Okay. So I'm going to go over here for the leaves. We're going to make one really big leaf. Okay. The leaves, we're going to do a basic. That's this basic design. Basic 1 3/4 is the length of beads that you start in the center. Pointed tops, pointed bottoms. I'll show you what that means. I think I'm going to do a rounded bottom and a pointed top, and I'll show you the difference. 19 rows. And for this design, they've made 2 for that sprig, right? I'm just going to make 1, I think. But that's how you read it. Okay. The small, basic, 1 3/4, pointed tops, pointed bottoms. I'm going to do pointed top, rounded bottom, 19 rows. I may do fewer than 19, and I'm only going to make 1. Okay, but I'll show you. So that first one with the basic, she says 1 3/4 is our center start. Okay, I'm going to do mine, I think, a little shorter. I think I'm going to start with 1 inch of beads. Okay, so that's my start. There's my inch. Okay, now I'm going to go down maybe about 6 inches worth of wire, because this length of wire directly relates to how long your leaf is going to be. So I usually go about 6 inches. I don't anticipate making anything larger than that. That's kind of a big thing. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Then I'm going to make a loop below it. Yeah, thank you for asking, Susan. The bead spinner is made of wood. And here's a little note from Janice about the bead spinner. And Emily, I know, sends her regards to all of you. She's doing well, staying busy, selling at the Old Town Sac farmers market. Emily, if you jumped on, please say hello. I let her know I was doing this in an homage to her today, but I don't know if she's out there in beadland. Okay, so here's the setup for your basic, okay, for your flower. My 1 inch of beads here, okay, my 6 inches of wire here. There we go. That's about 6. And then at the bottom loop is what becomes the bottom part of the wire underneath. So what I've been doing for these, because I wanted to reduce bulk, I actually clip the wire, bring it down, so I just have a single here. Okay, so there's different ways to finish this off, but I like having just this single wire so it's not overly bulky when I'm wrapping. Okay, like this. So my 6 inches, it's a little shorter than 6, but that's about 6 right there. Here's my loop down here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this with my chain nose pliers because I find it a little bit easier to do that. I actually want my straight chain, not my bent chain. Let me see. They were here a moment ago. Here's some straight chain, my Xuron ones. And I'm going to wrap this around just a couple of times, or you can just twist. It doesn't have to be really that beautiful. It just needs to be sturdy. Okay, so let me show you what this layout looks like. This is to start. This is the basic start, and this is what you need. Now, you might be asking, well, Kate, how many beads do you spin on at the beginning? I'm going to do that there so you can kind of see it. In the book where she says that, I've just been kind of playing it by ear, to be honest. But in the book, let's see, 19 rows. Does she say how many? Okay, here we go. So I think you have to do a little math kind of here. She says there are 19 rows of beads. She starts with 1 3/4. The rows grow as you go out. So, and there's a little measurement kind of down here. So I've started with like 40 inches or something like that, right? She doesn't give you the actual count or length. I'm just seeing 19. No, she doesn't. But you can kind of guesstimate. I'll tell you how many beads I've strung for this one. Okay, I'll just tell you. I just put on a whole bunch and don't cut the wire. That's 18. This is about 36 inches of beads that I put on here. Okay. Okay. So the way we start, I'm gonna get a little closer down here. Remember how we said pointed or rounded. Okay, I'm going to have a rounded bottom, and I'm going to make the top kind of pointed for this leaf. Okay, let me get a little tighter in here. So to start for a pointed leaf, what we're going to do, here's my center. Okay, I bring my beads down. So this is my first wrap. I come in, I lay my wire over the top of that center. See, so it looks like that. It's coming off, can you see, at a 45-degree angle. That's what makes this leaf or a petal kind of pointed. Then I wrap it around the back, wrap it to the front, and now I'm going to bring this down for my second petal. Well, it's actually my second wrap here. And see how it kind of also comes down at that 45-degree angle. So it's going to make kind of a point. Okay. Now I come down to the bottom. The bottom, if I want to make it rounded, I bring it across at a 45-degree angle. So now there's the bottom. Okay. So what I have here is my center, which was 1 inch. I have my rounded top, or my pointed top coming down, rounded bottom. So I come from the bottom. Now I'm bringing this around up here to the top, and see how, again, that's at a 45-degree angle. Okay, I'm going to try and slow it there. Okay, so see how that's more rounded, and it'll be more defined as you continue this. Okay, and you want the last bead, what I've learned to really cover your wire is you want the last bead that when you wrap, see, here's that 45-degree. You want the last bead that you put on to kind of cover the front of that wire. Okay. And don't worry, your first ones might look a little messy, and you can see the progression in my leaves. I got a lot better as I went along. So now you just wrap it once. You don't wrap it a multitude of times. So see, my wire's coming back across the front. I push all of these up. Now, if your wire's getting twisty and bent like this, like mine is, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see this. Okay. What I do is I come in, I push my wire down, or I push my beads down. See how this is all kind of wavy because I've been using this wire off the spool. Let me undo this. Let me unwind it. I'm going to slide this down so I expose a little more of my wire. So here's my wire right here. I'm going to get my wire straightening plier here. See, I want a nice straight piece of wire there. Okay, so now I'm going to bring these beads back down. We're going to get that right angle, come around. See, if I were doing a pointy bottom, see how I would bring it down at that angle there, but I'm doing a rounded bottom, so I'm bringing it across at a 45-degree. My tops of my leaves are also a little rounded, but I'm conquering the pointy top. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5 across. I'm going to make or 2 on one side, 2 on the other. I'm just going to do this with 3 on one side, 3 on the other, a total of 7 across, because I don't want this leaf to be too giant. So I'm going to bring it up, point, and so this is the last one for this side. wrap it once, bring my beads down, wrap it once. And I really want to make sure on this last one that my point, see, that's a pretty nice point up there. So even if your bottom ones are kind of rounded, kind of make sure the ones towards the end are a little pointier. So see here, I'm going to bring it around down at the bottom. When I twist, I hold the leaf. Of course, I put lotion on before I did this. Who was the smarty pants that told me to do that? So see, there it is. These aren't so wide that you need to lace across. I'm not going to talk about lacing in this one because our petals are all small, but lacing, essentially, you get a very thin wire like a 28 gauge or a 30 gauge, 32 gauge, and you just kind of stitch it, loop it along like this, along the back, so it has a brace here. Okay, but these aren't large enough that they need to be braced. So to kind of play around with this a little bit, I'm going to get my nylon jaw pliers. I'm going to hold it gently so you don't bust these beads, right? But I'm going to wrap several times here to kind of wrap around so it closes up the wire. Now, in some flowers or stems or whatever, you can take this and twist or whatever. But again, I want to take the bulk out of this. So what I do, I'm also going to just kind of flatten this out. But look at that leaf, right? And we count across 1, 2, 3. There's the center and 1, 2, 3. So a total of 7. Okay. And again, that center base determines the length of your leaf. This one was 1 inch. This one was just 6. I did 6 to begin that one. And these tiny little petals, I did 3 to start. This 3 only has 5 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These petals have 7 across, 2, 4, 6, 7. Sorry, they have 8 across, 1, 2, 3, 4. The center, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 8. The petals that I did, the larger ones, these also have 7 across, but they have 6 in the middle. So I hope that's not too confusing. I'm going to look at this. I think I like this long skinny leaf like this. Maybe I should make one more wrap, to be honest, since I did all of these leaves with 8. I just did this with 6. So it's easy enough to unwrap, just do that single wrap there. And I'll come, and I have enough beads on here. I'll do one more for this. Okay, so the rounded bottom, I want this to kind of be rounded. Let me take this off. For the rounded bottom, again, it needs to come across at a 45-degree angle. See, I just have to be really careful to unwrap it, not wire fatigue it too much, because I don't want this wire to break. Pull that back. So now see how crookedy the wire is there? I'm going to come in. Yeah, it's like from 70s camp, Margaret, like when we'd make the God's eyes. It's almost exactly the same, right? But those, you had a stick going that way and a stick going that way. Remember? Those were fun. So see, there we go. Nice and round at a 45-degree. I'll come up. This has gotten a little off, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll bring my beads down. Not so much wire in the way. Make sure it's all straight. Here's this. So now I'm coming around. Here's my right angle up here. See, 45-degree, not a right angle, 45-degree. And then I'll come down. So now this has 4 on each side, or 9 across, and it looks a little more full, which I like. Okay, push those beads down so you've got no gapping. Now I'll come in and I'll wrap around the bottom. Okay, like that. And again, this is all going to get covered so it doesn't have to look perfect. And see, my leaf isn't super straight and perfect, but I'm not going to worry about it, right? Because we're going to kind of shape this and stuff. Plus they're flowers and it's vintage. So vintage inspired. So I'm not going to worry about perfection. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tidy this up, clip all of the wire, the extra wire away. Okay. So here for this one, I'm going to clip that wrapping wire away. And I still have some green beads left on this. So I'm going to twist this down so that the beads don't come off. Okay, like this. I still have some here, so I could make a smaller one, right? If I wanted. I'll put that over there. Now, to secure this top wire, I'm going to push this down on the back. I'm working on the back of this now. And see this, I was a little off. I don't want to break any of the beads, so I don't want to handle this too much, but there we go. I kind of straightened that out a bit. All right. Now what I do is I bend this wire back along the back onto the back side of the leaf. I do this as well for, for all the beads, all the basics, the basic petals and the leaves. I'm going to clip, leaving maybe about 1/8 of an inch right there. Can you see that right there? Then I'm going to push that in so it tucks in, and I'm going to run my finger along the back to make sure that it doesn't catch. So here, this is done. And I can kind of move these around a bit. Then here, if I want this to be single, and I do, I'm going to come in, I'm going to open up my loop, I'm going to get my wire cutter, I'm going to clip it there and bring this down. Okay, and I want to make sure that there's no little burr, though again, this is going to be wrapped over the top. I'm going to cut away any little pointy wires like that. Okay, so there is the leaf that I just made. Okay, so let's again look at all the component parts, and I'm going to show you, I'll make another little center section for this too. So can you see I've made some leaves in varying sizes. Here's my petals. The petals had a 6 bead start. These are the outside petals. These are the inside petals. I made 4 of those. Those had a 3 bead start. And then I made the little stamens. Let me show you how I make those. So the stamens, I'm going to get, I think I've got another thing of wire here. I do. It's nice to have 2 things of wire, 2 spools of wire, because if you have extra beads, I don't want to take these green beads off of that wire to do something else, to do something else. I don't want to have to cut it off, but I need some more of this wire. So I'm going to use this right here. Okay. So this I am going to cut off of the wire because we do it a little bit differently. I'm just going to straighten this out. I'm going to start with maybe about 1 foot of wire or so right here, and I'll cut this off. Okay. Now I'm going to, in pattern, put on, I'm going to do it 4 times. 3 green, 1 yellow, 3 gold, 1 yellow, 3 green. You can make your stamens any color. I just kind of made this up, right? Let me get my green. And I just arbitrarily chose 4. Okay, and they're not super even, but it doesn't really make any difference. So 3 green. I'll dump that out right there. And just use what you have, right? The yellow and the gold here are Japanese seed beads. It makes no difference if you mix them, really, especially for these centers. So 1 yellow, then 3 of the gold, because poinsettias kind of have that weird looking stamen in them, right? So I just kind of did that. So here's 1 section like this. Okay. On the other side, what I want to do is I just want to make sure I tie like almost like a little knot or whatever, just to kind of make sure that nothing falls off the other end. Okay. So I'm going to repeat that 3 more times. 3 green, 1, 2. Come on, get on there. 3. And just a reminder, these are 11/aughts. These are the check silver lined that we used for Christmas in July. But you could use Japanese beads. Check, I think, are the more traditional ones, right? And they're a little less expensive, and we sell them in bulk for projects like this. But use what you have, right? So there we go. There's our 2 like that, right? And like this, 2, 3, then 1 yellow. So but do whatever you like for the centers. Okay. You could put a dot. I was thinking about putting a dot of red in the very middle, because also I think poinsettias have that weird red dot thing on their stamens too, but whatever. I wasn't going to go like full on, I don't know, name me a famous botanist besides my mom. Who was the one who did all of the pollinating experiments? It'll come to me. I used to love reading about that. Okay, so there's that. And here's this. And we'll do 1 more section. Yeah, 3 and 3. So now I'll do the last one, just making sure I was right. Then I'll show you how I twist these. 1 yellow, 3 of the gold, 1, 2, 3. 1 of those, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's that. All right, and I'm going to kind of scoot this so that the 2 ends are, so that my beads don't fall off the ends. They're secured. Let me get rid of these seed beads here. So here's my pattern. So I'll just kind of kind of visualize it. And I'll start over here, right? And my wire is kind of even on both sides. I'll start over here. I'll isolate my pattern. And all I do here is bring it into a loop. Yeah, wasn't it Mendel who did the pollination experiments? Maybe that was it. I'm going to grab that loop with my pliers or my fingers, and I'm just going to give it a little twist underneath. Okay, so there's 1. Now I'm going to come in, I'll bring in the second one and twist it as far as you want it, right? Kind of like that. So I want to make this little shape this little space, sorry, here about the same. So I'll bring this around in a circle, cross the wires underneath. I could also just wrap it down like this. You don't have to twist it. You could just kind of do it like that, right? So here's my next one. Again, it's a little taller. If I wanted it to be a little tighter, I'd twist it maybe one more time. But you don't want to over twist because you don't want these beads to break. Okay, like that. So there's two. Here I'll do my third one. And I don't know, I'm just making this part up. So there may be a better way of doing this, but this is what I'm doing. I bring it around in a circle. I cross it down here. See that? There's my little length of wire. And I twist. Okay, so now there's that one. And now I'll do my fourth one here. Oh, I put on 5. Well, I think I'll just keep this one at 4. Maybe not. I don't know. I've got it on here. These are now twisting. These little ends are catching. I don't want that to happen. There's my little circle. Bring this around. So it has about the same length there. There we go, like that. Sorry if I'm off camera. Sorry. I'm trying to keep it all in line. Grab it. There we go, and twist. Got to get that first twist in there. I think I'm going to grab it with my nylon jaw. Whoops, and of course I twisted it the wrong way. My fingers get a little tired when I'm doing this. There we go. All right. So see, I have here, oh, one of my green beads escaped, but it doesn't matter. So there's kind of like my little center for my stamens. I'm not going to do the 5th one, though I could, but I'm not going to. Then what I do is I bring these wires down. I'll choose the longest wire. And I'll just wrap that around just a few times to secure it, right? Like that. It doesn't have to be perfect wire wrapping at all. And then I'm going to cut this away. Okay. And yeah, it's kind of like the tree technique that Emily showed us, right? Because we're making those loops. Now, there's my little centers, and I just kind of pull them up, right? Wouldn't this be pretty as little buds? You can make a whole bunch of these as just little buds too, right? That would be really pretty. So let me zoom out and let's pull all of this together. So here's my center stamens. I'll use the one that I made earlier. Now I'm going to, I put this together once and then I took it apart. So I hope I can put it back together as nicely as I did before. I am going to get my center, get my 4 small leaves, or small petals, place them around. Sorry, let me do this up. There we go. Can you see this? Okay. Where's my other one? Okay. I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to arrange them. So there's that one. You want to make sure that the fronts are showing like that, not the backs. There's that one. There's that one. Now the trick is to getting all of these to sit together. Okay? So what I'm going to do here, let me push that down a little bit. I'm just going to take one of these ends and kind of wrap it around. Okay. And then maybe I'll take one of these petals and kind of wrap it around, right? I don't want, since this is a brooch, it's not something that needs a really fat stem. I don't want to make anything really wide down here. Okay. So I'm just kind of putting these in just so they hold. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Now let me get my 6 and I'm just going to lay them around. So there's that one. Just kind of lay them one next to each other. Okay, and you can come back and kind of play with them a little bit later too. If you feel like, okay, you know what? I've got 3 here. I'm going to grab one of those and I'm going to wrap it around everything to kind of hold it. Then I can kind of arrange those. So see, I mean, they're still a little loosey-goosey, but at least I kind of have something now to hold on to. Okay, so there are those 3. Now let me get my other 3. I'll come around. Here's that one. Here's this one. Sorry, I want to stay in frame. This one kind of is an extra big leaf. And this one. I don't know, maybe this extra big leaf. Do I just need 5 maybe? No, I think I need 6. I'm just going to get it in there. There's a space. There we go. Yeah, it needed that one. Sorry, off camera. Here, let me just zoom out. There we are. So see, looks kind of nice, right? So now I'm holding everything back here. I'm going to get myself another piece of wire that I should have cut before I had to hold all of these together, because I think it'll be easy. What I'm going for is I need to wrap really tightly there. So I'm going to get this piece of wire. I'm going to get the kind of end piece and I'm going to go below. Can you see that? Below all of this and just give it a tight wrap. See there? So it holds everything together. Now this looks like the dog's breakfast down here, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to grab all of this with my nylon jaw and I'm going to really try and get this tight up there. Yeah, so see, now things aren't moving so much. I'm going to bring, you kind of need to readjust everything. Readjust, readjust, readjust. Okay. Then what I can also do, here I'm working from the back. The green wire would work, Sue. Any of the wires will work. I didn't really get any green wire, but the green will work for sure. I'm going to pull this one down. I'm going to tighten it a bit. And with the wrapping of the floral tape, that's going to pull everything in. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to, that wire that I wrapped around, I really want to kind of smush it down. Smush is the technical term, so that these flowers don't move. That's what I want. Okay. How does that look? That looks pretty good, huh? What do you think? Now, let's get some floral tape on this one. okay, because I want all of this to stop moving. Here's my floral tape in green. Just like we're wrapping a corsage, okay? I don't know if you've ever made a corsage. Of course, yes, I have, and yes, it's fun. I like wrapping with that floral tape. Here's my floral tape. I'm going to get up there. I'm going to kind of leave myself a little bit extra there. I'm going to wrap it around nice and tight a couple of times. What I love about this floral tape is you're kind of stretching and wrapping all at the same time. If it looks like a big old mess at this point, it doesn't matter because you're going to fix it. Okay? Let me come in. Now, what I'm also going to do here, let me get this other tab down. That's going to cover that, right? Having that little extra tab up there helps you to kind of hold the floral tape so nothing is moving. That's the thing, is that all of these petals and stuff want to move until you get them wrapped. And see, once now they're nice and tight, you can arrange it. Look, just come on, get out of Dodge. Now I am going to reduce some of these. I'm going to wrap it just a little bit more. And I'm going to start to flatten out this tape. And I'm going to reduce my wires. Okay. And I'm going to reduce it pretty drastically. Okay. Exactly like grading fabric, Mare. Exactly. I'm going to get rid of those two. Flatten that down. Make one wrap. I'm going to get rid of like these three now here. Push it back in, wrap it down. I want to get down to about 3 wires and 3 pretty long wires. So I'm going to keep those 3 or those 2 and that one. Okay. The rest of these, I'm going to cut all these off right now. And I'm going to kind of cut them at an angle. Okay, like that. So now I'm going to get rid of all these little bits of wire, bring those around. And now, let me get my floral tape and stuff here so you can see it. Now I'm just going to wrap. Okay, so see how I twist and see how I hold that floral tape at an angle like this? I know, Mare, if we were having our traditional Christmas Eve party, you know what I'd be bringing the hostess. We need to do that one more time before sometime. Mary and her dear husband, Mark, used to have the most amazing Christmas Eve get-togethers, and we dress and dress. So fun. Now I'm just going to clip. Okay, so let me give you a measurement here. So this is what you have. You have like a poinsettia, right? That's not bad, right? So here's that. Okay, I'm going to make the leaves into another little bunch, right? A little artful bunch. I don't know. This is the part where I start to make it up. So I think what I'll do is this is what I remember for my, when I took a flower class, like a corsage class, the first time I walked down the aisle many, many years ago. Janice will remember this because she was at my first wedding. I wanted to have the world's biggest bouquet. So my mom and I took a bouquet and boutonniere making class. And I will tell you, it was the largest bouquet you've ever seen. It had like, and I did it all in fake flowers too. I mean, silk flowers. They were beautiful. I don't want it to sound tacky. It was gorgeous. It had like wheat and silk roses, and I don't know. It was nuts is what it was. But it was super fun. But when Ralph and I walked down the aisle at my first husband, when Ralph and I walked down the aisle, you couldn't see my dress because Janice says she remembers. Remember how big that bouquet was. But when Chris and I walked down the aisle together, I also made my bouquet. It was significantly smaller, very elegant. It was Johnny Jump Ups. What are those also called? Those funnel flowers. They were purple. Sometimes they're white. Calla lilies. They were purple callas. Mary made my dress for that wedding. So fun. So now I'm wrapping these up. So I don't know. I just love to make these. Right? I don't know. Another one of those lady talents. Right? A lady knows how to arrange her flowers. Make a bouquet. I don't know. So outdated. A lady, a gentleman, whoever. If you want to arrange your flowers, more power to you. Chris loves it when I buy him hyacinths. Hyacinths are Chris's favorite flower. And he'll put them in a little vase. So they make the house smell so nice. So let's do this one. I'm pre-wrapping these, is my idea, because I think I want to kind of bring them together at staggering lengths. And if I staggered them, they would not be even. Or they won't be even, and you'd see the wire, is what I'm trying to say. My mind is racing ahead of me. So see, I'm just going to wrap that little end up so it's nice and tight. That's the thing about this floral wire. Even if you feel like it's kind of a big old mess, right? You can just kind of tighten it down. Mary says I could be a Bennett sister. It's true, Mare. Two things. Number one, I know that you're watching the Budget Sense and Sensibility from our friend who does it on Instagram. And did you see, I think it's coming to Netflix, the Mary Bennett story, right? So we've got a new one. A new Jane Austen will set me up for life. Yesterday was Jane Austen's 250th birthday. They had a big celebration, I think, at Austen House. I am a complete, they call Austen fans bonnet heads, right? I'm a complete bonnet head. There we go. Okay, so see how I've kind of wrapped those, all right? Might look not my best wrap job, but it's really fine. I'm going to lay that one and then that one, so it's kind of like a little spray, right? Then I'll get my floral tape and we're going to wrap these. How you doing, Miranda? I don't know if she can hear me. I think she's listening to a podcast. I heard her exclaim, but that might have been because of the podcast. So see here, I've got those together. Maybe I'll hold them flat with my nylon jaw plier, or maybe you could use your clamper. But I got to get this tight around. Tight. I need to go up just a little. There we go. That's looking good. These nylon jaw prevent me from cracking these beads. There we go. And I'm going to wrap all of these together. And again, wrapping the stem, I can just kind of twist it. See how I hold that floral tape kind of at that angle and really tighten it. Okay, so there's my little spray, and I'll come in and I'll cut that off. All right, so what do I have here? I have that one, kind of those three sizes. I'm going to put it, it looks like it wants to go here. Right? Now it kind of has a little hole right there. What I did was, it's time for these little guys. I just got some silver wire. I put the druck on it, smushed it together, twisted a little bit, and wrapped those like I did this. Look, looky. It just fits there just perfectly, and just kind of arrange them like that, right? Maybe I want this to kind of be up. Yeah, there we go. There we are. Look at that. How pretty is that? I feel like maybe I would make another smaller flower to fit here, but maybe not. Look at how pretty that looks. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, let's look at the back. I'm just going to wrap all of these together. Why not, right? So I've got my floral tape. I'm going to bring it around. Let me show you the back. Okay. I also, since this is going to be a brooch, I want somewhere to put the pin back and stuff here. So I'm going to let this be kind of flat. Okay. Now I could put other little sprigs. I could have put this other little one there too, but I don't know. That looks a little weird. But Sharon, I will say, I bet your poinsettia will look great. I'm going to tell you, I got this idea yesterday when I was like, oh crap, I want something festive, but kind of, I don't know, off the cuff for the show. What am I going to do? Let me cut this off over here. So this literally, I put this together once and then I took it apart and now I put it together twice. This is literally my first one. So just, and look at my petals. They're not, there's a little bit of space there, a little bead space there. Don't be too hard on yourself, right? Let your first one just be, because I'm telling you, you're seeing this through the lens of the camera. If it were up close, it might not look so perfect. So here's this. I'm going to reduce these down. Let's use our Xuron heavy duty cutters for this. Let's reduce these, clip them off kind of at an angle. I'll cut this one off next, a little shorter, and then that one off. Okay. Yeah, I like the drucks in these. We've got the drucks. We've got plenty of drucks as well as 8mm fire polish, which I think would look really amazing. Then you just bring it down. See how it tapers kind of nicely? So I'll just rip this away and kind of twist it in. All right, now I need to figure out, and I think what I'm going to do is kind of twist that kind of like this, right? And I want it to be kind of flat. All right, so now I have to figure out how I'm going to get this flippin' pin back on here. Now, I thought that maybe I would cover this with a little bit of ribbon. Maybe this is vintage, like 1-inch ribbon, silk velvet that I have, of course, that I just have laying around. Because it'll also make the back look really nice. So I thought of just about doing something, I don't know, that looks a little bulky. Can I wrap it once, maybe? Maybe I'd wrap it around once like that. That doesn't look too bad. But I feel like it needs to be thinner. Just stay with me here for a second. I also have this. This is like some weird woven edge ribbon. This is vintage. I don't know. This is like skinny silk ribbon. You could also do this. I was thinking about doing it with suede lace, maybe. But I'm going to cut a piece of this off. I could also just leave the green, right? I could just leave this. But I feel like it wants another layer over the top. I may ditch it, okay? But if I start, let me do it on the back. If I start here, I cross the ribbon, wrap it tight, bring it around the front, and cross it. Around the back and cross it. I'm doing this crisscross thing because I feel like it's making my wrap kind of tighter. Plus I want 2 ends. Okay. So see how that looks kind of nice on the back. Now, I think the way I put it is this way. I want this pin back. Sorry, I have to put that down. It's going to loosen up. Open, note to self, open the pin back before you do this. So now I have to retighten. I'm going to lay this pin back along the back. I could glue it, but I want to do a dry run first to see. Now I'm going to wrap it back up the top. And I'm going to wrap over the bar, over the bar of the pin back. There we go. Now this one around. If I were doing this in real life and I knew that it was going to work, I would have glued it. But this is going to work okay because I'll take it off and glue it when I'm done. But this crisscross wrapping really makes it tight. See how I can pull both of these? Yeah, I could have wrapped the pin back on Margaret, as I was wrapping with the floral tape, that's actually a pretty good idea. And then it would be really secured on there. You know, the second go round is always better than the first. I like how this little silk ribbon, and I don't mind the contrast here at all, to be honest. That goes that way. This goes this way. We're almost done. I'm going to bring it around. And what I'll probably do here is glue this down. But I think I'm going to tie a little knot right there. And then I'll play around with it later, but I want to finish this off. Michelle has a cute idea. You could wrap it kind of like it's like a bouquet from the florist. Maybe something wider like that would look nice with that, like that ribbon, the velvet ribbon. But yeah, see, this is wrapped there. There's my pin back. There. I'm going to close this up now. You know what? Maybe I will just, I'm just going to knot it nice and tight underneath. I know it's hard to see. There. Whoops. Well, that's what I was going to do. I was going to clip it so it tightened. Thank you, vintage ribbon. But it broke in the exact right place. So I'm going to come here. That's sometimes the problem with vintage textiles. You want them to be super strong, and you know, they've had a little bit of wear. I should be clipping this with scissors, but there we go. Look at that. So I'll try and show you underneath. I'm going to add a little dot of glue underneath right there. Kim, you and I are on the same page. A little bit of GS Hypo. Let me zoom in. And a little bit of GS right there. Right. This GS is kind of a mess. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. A little bit right there. Just glue that sucker down. It's glued under there. And you could do anything to wrap this with. I have my little, I'm going to press that glue. So I'm going to use this little craft stick to kind of make sure that my glue is right where I need it to be. Right there. I really need, let me see. I can't believe I don't have my sharp scissors sitting here. Hang on. Hold the phone. Oh, let me try my thread snips. Let me try that. Just a little, there we go. I just need to get that extra silk. So I'm going to add just one more thing. And no, I promise you, my friends, just start with one petal, right? You remember how cute it was with just this little one there, right? It was so cute. So just let it grow, literally grow organically. Okay, just let it pull together. I'm going to press that glue. Can you see how the glue's sitting there? I'm going to press that glue in. There we go. That's not going to go anywhere. Now I'm going to do a final arranging of these petals to get everything how I want it to look. I'm also going to kind of push these up from the back a little bit so they have a little bit of, like, see, dimension. See that side view? Like this. Ma, I said who was a renowned botanist besides my mom. You must have missed it. See how I'm pulling that? There we go. Just zhuzh them a little. Oh, come on now. Look at how cute this is. Here's the back. This is wrapped. You can see a little bit of wire there, but it's not the end of the world, right? Isn't it gorgeous? And see, I love that little flare. I could have wrapped this with silk ribbon. In the Amazon store, I linked some green silk ribbon, but the floral tape is also kind of pretty. I don't mind it, right? It really has that true corsage feel. I love it. So let me pin it on and see how it looks, right? Let me do that. So there's your close-up, Mr. DeMille. There it is. You can do a, let me just put it there so you can take a screenshot when we're ready. There we go. Screenshot right there. So that's 3 leaves, 1, 2, 3, with this leaf had an inch start. These 2 leaves, I think, had starts that were 6 beads long in that center. This one, and they had 8 going across. The petals had a 6 bead start with 6 wraps, 3 here, 1 there, 1 there, for a total of 7. And there are 6 petals there. And you can see my petals aren't all the same size. They kind of all started the same. But see, that petal's kind of huge. But who cares, right? No one cares that it's big. You'll never notice. Then the tiny petals are, they were a 3 bead start with the 5 rows across. 1, 2. That center row is 3, 4, and 5. And then we did that the little stamens with the loop, a 4 loop stamen for the center. Okay, that's it. And then I just added these drucks. I think the drucks really make it. You could do anything. I was also thinking about doing wire wrapping some little mirror gem duos and having them stick out, you know, whatever, right? Is what we're going to do. So let me put it on. Let me see. This is perfect for the holidays, right? Let me see if this goes. Yeah, cherry blossoms. We'll do one for this summer. I mean, for the spring, for sure. Let me just pin this on right here. Let me do this. I can't see. It's kind of close up. But yeah, a mistletoe sprig would look great. Really, really cute. I need to make sure that it has, let me reposition it a little bit. It's kind of hard. It's hard to put on your own brooch, right? Let me do it up here. Let me pin it through my dress and my shirt. And I can't look in the camera. Yeah, orchids. You know, the book, the Making Flower, Antique Flower book has, yeah, there we go. Come on now. How cute is this little vintage thing, right? Isn't it charming? And you guys use whatever you have at home, right? I know that you have seed beads. Go to our Amazon. That, see, right there it is. That QR code. If you scan the QR code, you'll go right to our Amazon store. and it has the floral tape. It has the wire. I've linked this book. Full disclosure, our Amazon store, we do get a referral for that. So every little bit helps our small business. So we really appreciate it when you shop with our Amazon link. Here's the book, Making Beaded Flowers and Bouquets. And you can see I didn't really follow a pattern from the book. I kind of did the basic, right? And kind of put it together. So use your imaginations, my friends. Start with one petal. Make one petal, then make a second petal. Once you have 6 petals, you kind of have the outside of your flower, kind of put them together and take a little time to see, how it works or whatever. This would also be cute. I'm so distracted by this velvet, but wouldn't this be cute? Maybe put like a velvet ribbon behind it. So it has, maybe it's like a little, I don't know, something like this. So, I don't know, but play around. It only took us, I was working on it last night and then putting it together today. So it takes a couple hours. It's a good afternoon project. I'm going to be working on some more for the, when we have our movie night tonight. Oh, there's Alfred. I'll show you the earrings. This was the earrings that I did. I know he's crying. These are the earrings that I did a few shows ago. Let me put them on here. My mom and I went to our quilters Christmas party last night or yesterday afternoon. Those quilters know how to party. It was really fun. Let me make sure this is in the right configuration. Hang on. You're going to see there we go. There it is, right there, like that. Perfect. So yeah, these I did with that stomia finding. And then this is when Danielle did her Gem Duo bracelet. This was my take. And I did it in a pair of earrings. So it looks super festive. Stars are great. Yeah, you could get some little vintage bells, Margaret. Would look so good on this little corsage, right? So these were really fun. I did them, I think it was also a free tip Friday. I'll make sure that they're linked in the projects too. They might already be done. So I'll put them in the newsletter too, so you can find them. Okay, so let me talk to you about tonight if you want to join us for our holiday movie night. The movie is going to be Muppet Christmas Carol. I'm going to have it playing in the background as well. So we'll see how to position it so it won't be super distracting. You can play it along on your own device if you want. It's streaming free on Disney Plus right now. I bought it on Apple Movies. I don't know, it's like $3 or something, not very expensive. So you can watch it on your own device if you want, but I'll have it streaming in a Zoom window with the subtitles on so we can kind of also chat. The Zoom room will accommodate a ton of you. So you will go into the waiting room. We'll let you in. We're going to open the waiting room at about 4 and start the movie at about 4:15. Miranda and I are going to be hanging. Who knows what cats are going to be joining us.
Alfred said he doesn't want to go. He's mad at me.
Oh, why is Alfred mad at? Oh, Alfred is assisting.
It's because I keep bugging him.
Miranda.
Ow!
Alfie, he's over on the counter.
That was a
I think trying to help fill orders. What a bad boy. So yeah, so we're going to be playing around. We'll chat. We'll have the movie on. We'll see how it goes. It's our first one. And those of you who attend, I have a virtual party favor for you. Okay? But only for those who attend. We're not going to record it. What stays at movie night, what's said at movie night, stays in movie night. But we'll let you know how it goes. Again, the Zoom link is earlier in the chat here. It's also in your newsletter. If you didn't get it, you can shoot us an email over at info@beadshop.com and I'll send the link to you. Okay. Jane, thank you. Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year, right? We so, especially at this time of year, but we're so thankful for you folks. You know, you bring the light just like the Hanukkah candle. You bring the good cheer just like a cup of good eggnog, right? We're so, so thankful for you this time of year. So happy holidays. I will see you on Friday. I think Janice is coming on. No, she's not. Janice has a holiday tea, so it's just me. Okay. But I've got something. I've got something for you on Friday. I hope you're going to like it. All right. That's it. That's all I got. We're out. Me, Miranda, Alfred. See you folks. Hope to see you tonight at movie night. Bye, everybody. Alfie.